ಹಲೋ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್. GPSTR ಮತ್ತು HSTR ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋರಿಗೆ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಒಂದು ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಬಟ್ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಆಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಇಲ್ದೇ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವೇಟೇಜ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಯಾವುದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟಿಂದ ಹೋಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಗೀಳ್ಟ್ ಪಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್, most important topics, and how you should actually prepare for it for GPSTR HSTR 2026. So before you start studying the whole syllabus randomly, watch this analysis. It can save your time and give you clear direction. ಫಸ್ಟ್ GPSTR ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನೋಡೋಣ. GPSTR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ 50 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್, ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 33% ಆಫ್ ಪೇಪರ್ 1. ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ 1/3 ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿಯಿಂದ ಬರುವ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಗ್ನೋರಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಟೈಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹೂ ಗೇವ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಯರಿ, which psychologist proposed this concept. But recent trend ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ questions are shifting towards case based or application based questions. ಅಂದ್ರೆ instead of asking who said this, examiners are asking if a student behave like this in classroom, what should a teacher do? So understanding concepts deeply is more important than just memorizing names. Now let's talk about HSTR exam. HSTR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ 25 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗಿದೆ, which is around 25% of the paper. So even here it is an important section for scoring marks. Trend ನೋಡಿದರೆ HSTR questions usually focus more on adolescent stage psychology because HSTR teachers mostly deal with high school students who are in adolescent stage. Another important area is ICT integrated pedagogy, where questions may come about using technology in teaching and learning. Now let's look at an important trend alert. Recent educational reforms like NEP 2020 and NCF-FS 2023 are influencing exam questions. So examiners are not focusing only on traditional theories anymore. Instead, they are asking questions related to modern teaching practices and child-centered learning approaches. Another major change is that rote learning-based questions are decreasing and are replaced by critical thinking scenarios. They are testing critical thinking and application of psychology in real classroom situations. So aspirants should focus on understanding concepts and applying them to teaching scenarios, not just memorizing definitions. So now that we understand the weightage and changing trends, the next important question is which topics in educational psychology are actually most important for GPSTR and HSTR preparation. Let's look at that in the next section. This is the official syllabus of educational psychology. ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಮೇನ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ, ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಥಿಯರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವಿಸಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಲರ್ನರ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್. Now let's move to the most important part of the educational psychology preparation. If you look at the previous GPSTR and HSTR papers carefully, you will notice that some topics repeatedly appear in the exam. So instead of trying to cover everything randomly, it is better to focus on a few high-yield areas first. Among them, the first and the most important pillar is human development. Human development is actually the foundation of education psychology, because before understanding how students learn, teachers must first understand how children grow and develop at different stages. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುವ ಪಾಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. In this topic, you should clearly understand a few basic concepts: growth versus development, maturation and readiness. Growth physical changesಗೆ ರಿಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್, ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. Then maturation and readiness. Maturation means natural biological development, whereas readiness means when a child becomes mentally prepared to learn a particular skill. After understanding these concepts, the next important part is developmental theories. These theories explain how children think, learn, and behave at different stages. The first very important theory is Piaget's cognitive development theory. Piaget explains how children's thinking ability develops through different stages, starting from sensory motor stage in early childhood to formal operational stage in adolescence, where students develop abstract thinking. Next, important psychologist is Vygotsky. Vygotsky focuses on social interaction in learning. Two key ideas here are zone of proximal development and scaffolding. Basically means that students learn better with guidance from teachers or peers. Another important theory is Kohlberg's moral developmental theory, which explains how children gradually develop moral reasoning and understanding of right and wrong. Finally, we have Erikson's psychosocial developmental theory. This theory explains emotional and social development across life stages. For HSTR preparation, you should especially focus on the stage identity versus role confusion because it relates directly to adolescent students in high school. So, human development forms the foundation of educational psychology, and these theories are very important from exam point of view. Now, let's look at the second high yield pillar that every aspirant must prepare carefully: learning and motivation. These are the heart of the educational psychology. Almost every exam asks questions about these theories. Behaviorism explains learning through stimulus and response. ಇದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ನಡೆಯುವ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ವರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆ ವರ್ತನೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ವರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಆ ವರ್ತನೆ ಕುಂದುತ್ತೆ. And here the important thinkers are Pavlov, he gave classical conditioning; Skinner, he gave operant conditioning; and Thorndike, he gave laws of learning. Constructivism says students construct their own knowledge. ಇದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಸ್ವತಃ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. The main thinkers of constructivism are Brunner, he gave discovery learning; Gagne, hierarchy of learning. Gardner says intelligence is not one type. There are many types like musical, logical, and linguistic. And note that Gardner theory usually gives 2 to 3 marks in the exams. Next, motivation. Students learn better when they are motivated. This is the point where you should focus. So, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, all these are very important for the exams. Focus on thinkers and theories. Most questions come from them. Let's move on to the next pillar. Pedagogy and inclusive education focus on how a teacher teaches and how every child in the classroom is included. Inclusive education means teaching all students together, including children with special needs. Understanding children with special needs is very important for teacher. CCE evaluates students continuously instead of relying on final exams. While formative assessment helps improve learning and summative assessment measures final performance. A good teacher is only a subject expert but also a leader and guide. NEP 2020 focuses on developing skills, creativity, and critical thinking. And RTE focuses on free education up to age of 6 to 14 years. Remember, dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and CCE, these are very common exam questions. Now let's look at a very important thing, the topic-wise score booster strategy for GPSTR and HSTR. Here you can see this topic, stages of childhood and adolescence or adolescence from developmental psychology. It gives you 12 to 15 marks in GPSTR and 6 to 18 marks in HSTR. Next, Thorndike and Skinner's laws from learning theories gives you 50 to 18 marks in GPSTR and 8 to 10 marks in HSTR. Similarly, IQ calculation and Gardner multiple theory from intelligence and personality gives you 10 to 12 marks, and in HSTR 4 to 6 marks. Children with special needs, ICT applications in inclusive education from inclusive education and CCE gives you 8 to 10 marks in GPSTR weightage and 3 to 5 marks in HSTR weightage. Till now we got to know what to study, and now let's know how to study. For that you have to follow SMART strategy. It has 3 steps. In the first step 1, divide your syllabus into 3 zones. Zone A, Zone B and Zone C. Mark Zone A as high priority. Here you cover the topics which give you 60% marks. Then mark Zone B as medium priority. Here you cover the syllabus which gives you 25% of marks. Then mark Zone C as low priority. Here you cover the syllabus which gives you 15% of marks. The Zone A alone gives you 60% of marks. Like the topics like child development, where stages and theories of Piaget, Kohlberg, Erikson, and growth versus development concept, heredity and environment. These are important from the child developmental topic. Then learning theories. From this topic, your focus areas should be behaviorism, constructivism, Gestalt and social learning theory from Bandura. Then intelligence. Your focus areas should be theories of Gardner, Sperman, and IQ and creativity. Then inclusive education. From inclusive education, your focus should be on learning disabilities, dyslexia, ADHD, dyscalculia, etc. Then gifted children, RTE Act 2009. The Zone B gives you 12 to 13 marks. Cover topics like motivation and emotion, where your focus should be on Maslow's hierarchy, then internal versus external motivation, emotional intelligence, then personality, where you should cover types, traits, and Freud's psychoanalysis, assessment of personality, guidance and counseling. Here you should focus more on types of guidance, role of a teacher as counselor, then CCE and evaluation. Here you should focus on formative versus summative assessment, Bloom's taxonomy and blueprints. These are very important for exams. The zone C gives you 7 to 8 marks. Although the weightage is low, you should not ignore topics like mental health and hygiene, where defense mechanisms are very important. The educational statistics, mean, median are most important. History of psychology and ICT in education. Now let's move to the next step, step 2, understanding the nature of questions. New questions solve ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಂಚೆ identify whether the questions are direct or factual. Direct questions test your memory. For example, who proposed trial and error theory? This question tests your memory. Questions like what is the primary differences between growth and development? These are conceptual based. These test your understanding. Similarly, a question. A student is constantly late to your science class based on operant conditioning. How do you handle this? This question is application based, your classroom scenario based. These tests your teacher DNA. You must, during answering this question, you have to think like you have to answer as a teacher, not as a student or an aspirant. Now let's move to step 3. Here, first concept clarity. Get concept clarity. When you read a topic, take full concept clarity. Don't just read, understand, and apply it to classroom situations. For example, when studying Vygotsky scaffolding, don't just memorize the definition. Think of a teacher helping a student solve a chemistry equation by providing hints until the student can do it alone. This imagination gives you gives clarity of the concept. Next, PYQ analysis is the real game changer. When you analyze PYQs, you will notice patterns, repeating topics, nature of questions, and mainly traps set by examiners. So practice lot of PYQs to score maximum marks. And last, don't forget to revise what you study on the same day because revision is the only key to retention. If you want to recall answers perfectly on time, you you must revise all periodically. There is no shortcut. You have to revise, revise and revise. Here I listed down most repeated subtopics you can't ignore. So if you focus on these high yield topics like Piaget stages, Vygotsky, zone of proximal development, Thorndike laws, Skinner reinforcement, Bloom's domains, formative versus summative evaluation, norm versus criterion, adolescence characteristics, gifted child rights, and mean or median basics. So you focus on these high topics. Educational psychology can become your scoring subject. Which topic do you find now? Which topic do you find most difficult in education psychology? Comment in the comment box. I will make video on that topic and simplify it for you. If you found this analysis is useful, stay connected and thank you for watching.